viral new products at the drugstore that apparently you needed to know about. So that's what I'm here today to do. I'm here to do the investigations to let you know whether or not these drugstore products are worth it. When it comes to drugstore products, I mean, of course, you know, we want it to be good for the price, but I'm always looking for those drugstore products that outperform high-end / Sephora prestige level makeup. And you guys were curious about a good number of these. I would say 4 of these products are super viral. 2, a little more self-serving for myself. I just wanted to try them. But heavy hitters today, I'm going to be testing the new Maybelline Lifter complexion line. So we have the Plump and Glow foundation and the Lifter concealer. And then the most requested for me to cover, you guys, the new Covergirl Trublend Skin Enhancer bronzers and blushes, which rumor on the street is that these are dupes of my beloved Hourglass ambient lighting edit powders, which I think are undupable. So we're going to see that today, but so many of you guys have raved about those, so I'm excited to try those. Okay, and these next 2 are more so for me, but thought I'd throw them in. I've been keeping an eye on ColourPop lately. They launched their Fresh Kiss Glossy Balms in a shimmer finish with the most delicious of flavors. I'm only gonna do like a couple today because I don't need all of these, but the shimmer finish intrigued me. And these new limited edition Super Shock Trios, which I thought had the prettiest colors, so I had to cover them for the eyes today. I'll get more into the other flavors, but I do want to hydrate my lips while we're working on the face. Buttery pancakes or whipped cream? Which one do I want? I really miss pancakes, you guys. Let's do buttery pancakes. But I just want this to hydrate my lips. I'll go more into the details about all of the shades and whatnot later on. Please smell like buttery pancakes. Okay, I wouldn't say buttery pancakes, but it does have like a caramelly scent. Ooh, these do have glitter in them. Wait, oh, that's cool. Okay, we're just gonna let that hydrate the lips while we're working on complexion today. Maybelline has some amazing foundations, which is why I was very curious about this new Lifter launch. So we have the Plump and Glow foundation. We'll start off with that, and then we'll get into the Lifter Serum Concealer. Right now, all of the shades are in stock at Ulta. I purchased this off of Amazon because a lot of the stuff that was out of stock drugstore makeup wise was on sale at Amazon, and it came pretty quickly. So am I an Amazon fan for makeup now? I used to never be. But this foundation, it's $15.99 at Ulta. There's a lot of shades, and this one is 90% skincare infused with niacinamide and hyaluronic acid for plumpy and glowing skin. Now, skincare infused, skincare heavy foundations make me nervous because when this started to become a trend a few years ago, I found that you could tell there was skincare in there because it would be heavy and would break the foundation up. So hopefully that's not the case with this. I don't think it is. I have tested this on my skin, have not yet done a wear test. So we're gonna do that today. I picked up the shade 113, which is a decent match for me. Maybe like a half a shade too deep, but we'll make it work. So 113 is described as light with neutral undertones. I think this looks disgusting. I swear it's cleaned. I just I put the foundation on earlier and didn't clean it off after that, but it's still fresh. Anyways, I think 112 would probably be a better match for me, which is a fair with neutral undertones, even though I consider myself light skin tone. As you can see, it's not a really liquidy one. That's why I'm showing you this disgusting thing. It's almost whipped a little bit. It's still liquidy, but it doesn't fall like a liquid. Let's see. You know, I like to warm up the foundation into my skin using my finger. I find that's the best way to not waste product, but also get the smoothest, most even application, get the true finish of the foundation. And what I'm really impressed about with this foundation is how nicely it melts into the skin with just a finger. It does feel almost whipped and air-like to me, which I think is what's making it so smooth and easy to apply. It feels air-light. I'm using a BK Beauty 109 brush, and I'm just lightly patting this in. And by the way, this doesn't really oxidize. Maybe like the slightest bit darker, but it's pretty true to color if you test it out in store. So it doesn't get much darker than that initial application, which is sometimes what drugstore foundations suck up with, because you think it looks one way in store and then 5 minutes later after wearing it, you're orange. That didn't really happen with this. Okay, so here is with that first layer. What do you think? I think it gives a lighter medium coverage. You can build it up to get, I would say, a true medium coverage, but you have options here. There's some versatility. You can get light coverage or you can build it up to medium. It does not have a flat finish by any means, but it is like a natural glow finish. It does not blur the skin, even though I feel like it has that whipped consistency. That does not blur over pores and fine lines, which is fine. And the glow is very natural. I wouldn't call it glowy, but it's definitely not matte. It makes the skin look pretty soft and supple to the touch, I think due to that whipped consistency. But that looks really nice, doesn't it? Okay, let's get this on the other side of the face. I'm ending up doing probably like 2 full pumps for my face to get to that medium level of coverage. If you just did 1 full pump for the face, it would give you that light, natural coverage. So one thing I would like to add is it 100% is not going to blur at all. I'm like very pregnant, so my hormones are crazy. My skin is super dry. It's also super dry outside, and it is attaching itself to the dry patches a little bit. So it's not something that has eradicated my skin issues, but really good foundations right now are struggling with that. So I won't put it down too much for that, but just know, it is looking a little bit dry here on the outskirts of my face and just the areas that I do have some underlying dryness, but it's not emphasizing it too badly. It's not making me feel bad about myself. Unless I'm looking in a really close mirror, I can make those picky selections, but it's so light on the skin. I can barely feel it. And I think once I get the rest of the makeup on, you really won't be able to see that dryness anymore. So far, so good. It's not like game-changing, love at first sight kind of finish, but if it can wear well, if it can kind of settle into the skin with my natural oils as time goes on, I can see myself enjoying this as an everyday foundation that doesn't feel like much on the skin. Next up, we have the Lifter Serum Concealer. This is $13.99 at Ulta, and this one gives bright, full coverage with 2% peptides for brighter under eyes instantly and over time. I picked up the shade 20, which they say is a light neutral. The applicator is quite tiny, and for this being light neutral, it's very, very light. So the shades run light, I think, because it's supposed to brighten. It's a much thicker consistency, like a little bit heavier, I guess, is the word I want to use, than the foundation. The foundation, I feel like, while it's thicker in that it's whipped versus super liquidy, this one, she's just thick and heavy. But I do find it does blend out pretty nicely. No issues. I think ideally, like, I don't love an under eye this bright. I probably would have gone for maybe shade 25. It still works out. I'm just going to take a damp sponge and push this in. I don't know, I find my under eyes have been really dry lately. And so when I use a brush, it just kind of emphasizes that it's not the product, it's me. And here's how it looks. I think it looks nice. I wouldn't say it gives full coverage. This is like medium coverage with just a lighter amount of product. I'm going to put a little bit more to see how that coverage builds, but it definitely brightens the under eye for sure. I'm going to do a little bit more. I like to use the A506 from BK Beauty to spread that out, bring it down to brighten. We'll put some on the eyelid today too to even that out. And then the sponge just to kind of soften and smooth everything. I think that looks really, really nice. It definitely thins out as you blend it out. I do think if you have some fine lines on the under eyes, you do have to take some time to work it out because it can dry and get a little stuck in those fine lines if you don't blend them out before they dry. But overall, I think it looks pretty nice and airbrushed on the under eyes. I wouldn't call it a full coverage concealer by any means, but it's looking good. It's getting the job done. Now, I definitely want to make sure I'm setting with a powder that I'm familiar with the performance of. So I'm using the Huda Beauty Easy Bake in Peach Pie, mostly on the under eyes, a little bit here in the T-zone just to touch, and then that's it. I don't want to use too much powder today because obviously I want to see how the product performs, but it's important that I do my normal routine so that I know the pattern of how things perform. Just a little bit on the under eye, a little bit right here to see if that blurs the pores a little bit more and does what the foundation could not, and definitely helped. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do with powder, just a touch. So it has settled a bit. This is how the skin is looking. It is looking slightly drier than I would prefer, but not bad. Like I said, my skin is the problem. But while that continues to settle in, let's get into the Hourglass dupes. And you know I don't use that phrase lightly because I think Hourglass is undupable, but the internet is swearing these are Hourglass dupes. So Covergirl has these Trublend skin enhancers. This is the Baked Luminous bronzer. I will also be going into the Baked Luminous blush. They are $12.99 on Ulta, but all of the shades are sold out at Ulta right now. Pick them up on Amazon if you want. The shades I picked up are Honey Bun, which is this lighter one, and then Toasted Butterscotch, which I feel like has a little bit of rosiness running in there. And the internet's going crazy because an Hourglass bronzer is like $58, and this is much more affordable. So it turns out I actually don't have a lot of the individual permanent bronzers. I just collect the palettes. But I do have one permanent range bronzer, Diffused Bronze Light. So I'll show you that one as well as the other bronzers in this year's holiday palettes. Okay, I haven't even touched these yet, but this is Honey Bun from Covergirl. Pretty light. Okay, I feel like this already has more glow than the Hourglass. We'll see. Then this is Toasted Butterscotch. See, these look very glowy. This is much more golden. And this I can already tell, I think it has more shimmer than the Hourglass. A little bit more metallic. I no longer have Luminous Bronze Light from Hourglass, which I'm mad about. I decluttered it and gave it away because I have so many bronzers just in these palettes, but no, I wish I still had it. But here is Diffused Bronze Light, which you can purchase. You see, it has more of like a candlelit glow. So this one is definitely going to be closer to Honey Bun. What do you think? They are similar, actually. The Covergirl is slightly more yellow, has a little bit more warmth and depth, but they are closer than I thought. If you have this Swan palette, this isn't a marbled bronzer, but this is natural bronze. You see, it definitely has a lot less metallic in here, and this one is way more cool toned. So these are not even close. And then I'll also do Bronze Fusion. Let's see. So this from the Fox palette is actually pretty close to this Covergirl. And this is the Deep Bronze, which is deeper. Okay, I redid the swatches so that you could see color-wise. So I'm going to pay more attention to the finishes, which they do look pretty similar. So this is Covergirl Honey Bun, and then Hourglass Diffused Bronze Light. This is the Covergirl Toasted Butterscotch. And these two are from the Fox palette this year. So this is actually the finishing powder in Desert Light and the bronzer in Bronze Fusion. Just so you can see the comparisons, the swatch differences. Toasted Butterscotch definitely is a little bit more metallic than most of the Hourglass formulas. I feel like Honey Bun has a little bit less metallicness than Toasted Butterscotch. I do want to see how these formulas read on the face. So I'm going to start off with the Covergirl Honey Bun. We'll get nice and close so that you can see. I'm going to use a Rephr number 5 brush. A little bit more powdery. I did spot clean my brush, so there should be no overlap. Applies really easily. So even if this isn't the perfect Hourglass dupe, so long as it has this good performance, who cares? This is really, really gorgeous. Ooh, I love this. I think if you're around my skin tone, Honey Bun is really, really beautiful. I don't have enough face to put all of the bronzers on, but I do want to do a side-by-side with Diffuse Bronze Light, since this is the other marbled bronzer. And this one's a little lighter, a little bit more pink, so I'm not expecting the color to look the exact same, but I'm hoping I can tell a difference here in the finish. I mean, to the naked eye, there really is no difference between the formulas. As a makeup reviewer, I can tell you I do notice a difference, but it's so subtle, and there is a big price variance between the two. I think that the Hourglass just built up a little bit more seamless. The Covergirl has a little bit more kick up, but they look very, very, very similar on the face. Do they not? Okay, let's layer a bit. No, I'm very, very pleased with the performance of this Covergirl. I am biased and have stood by Hourglass for so long, so I don't think I can admit to it to being a dupe quite yet, but I'm enjoying the performance. Okay, let's try some of Toasted Butterscotch. This is the one that I think is least like the Hourglass. Honey Bun from Covergirl is closer to the Hourglass because it's a little closer in the glow. This one has definitely more, like I said, metallicness to it, which I think makes it less luxurious, because that's what is special about the Hourglass, is that candlelight soft light glow. This is much better for more mid-tone complexions, and it has more gold in there, definitely more warmth. I do think, I know this is not a bronzer, but the finishing powder in Canyon Heat is just closer for me. But this is going to be different than the bronzer. And obviously I'm layering them, so it's not really a true comparison. But I just want to show you. Definitely similar. That is without question. Overall, from what I can tell, I think Toasted Butterscotch is different from Hourglass in that, like I said, it is more metallic, which is what the Hourglass does not have, which is what I like about the Hourglass, but applies beautifully. Very luscious blend over the cheek. Stunning drugstore product. I think that Honey Bun is a little more closely related to Hourglass here because that glow is a little bit softer. It's a little closer to what you get with Hourglass. I need to try Luminous Bronze Light versus this to see how those two compare, but this is a little similar, I will say, to the Hourglass. Very, very good drugstore product. Very excited about this, and it definitely gives you a taste of kind of what Hourglass would be like. We'll see about the longevity, but really, really happy with that. Now, I did manage to pick up 2 of the blush shades. So this is Rose Latte, and this is Please Please Pink. I'm going to swatch Rose Latte first. This one seems more flat than the bronzers. This is like the perfect everyday shade for me. And this is Please Please Pink. Really pretty. Now I do have 3 permanent blush shades that I'm going to compare for you. The first one I want to compare to is Rose Latte. And I'm comparing that to one of my all-time favorite blushes from Hourglass, Mood Exposure. Let me put it on the other finger. So Mood Exposure. Putting that on top of Rose Latte. Mood Exposure has a little bit more pink to it, but I actually really like how neutral Rose Latte is. Sublime Flush, I think, might be close to Please Please Pink. So here's Please Please Pink from Covergirl. Sublime Flush has a hint more peach, but they're very, very close. And then this is Diffused Heat, which I don't think is going to be close. It's definitely a bit brighter. It has slightly more peach, but they're definitely close. Diffused Heat, Sublime Flush, and then CoverGirl Pink. Rose Latte from CoverGirl, and then Mood Exposure from Hourglass. Okay, which one should we do? Which one's the closest? So we will do, here's what I've decided. Rose Latte from CoverGirl, I'm going to do towards the back. Pretty pigmented. This one is more flat than the bronze. That's really beautiful. Very, very high-end quality. And then let's take some of Mood Exposure. Put this towards the back. Stunning. Stunning. The CoverGirl, I feel, actually has a little bit more pigment. But these look very, very close on the cheeks to one another. I wipe off my brush. And then more towards the apple, taking CoverGirl, Please Please Pink. I know I'm going to be over blushed today, but I want to make sure that you can see the differences. I'm actually just going to wipe this off to make sure we're getting the same density. And let's take Sublime Flush. Just a little bit softer in application. If we use Diffused Heat, I think it would give a more similar pigment level. So we'll build it up just a little bit. Hey, you know what? These do look very, very close to the Hourglass. Let's get my mirror up close. Can I tell a difference? I actually think, honestly speaking, the Hourglass side looks smoother. My skin looks more airbrushed underneath versus the CoverGirl side, but it is like this much difference. So pretty much no. Are you able to tell? Do you see what I see? My cheeks just look a little bit smoother on this side compared to the CoverGirl side, but like barely, especially not 5 times the price difference. Let me put it that way. So very interesting. And overall, I think the CoverGirl gave off more color, more pigment right away. Hourglass has a slightly more buildable formulation, and this is me being so picky, you guys, because let me tell you, if I were not a makeup reviewer by trade, the CoverGirl is a fantastic drugstore alternative to pick up over the Hourglass. But I can't get over, my face does look smoother with the Hourglass, which is why the Hourglass has always been so special to me, but it definitely matches the vibes. That's for certain. The shades are a little bit more pigmented here, but that's okay. They're phenomenal, honestly. These CoverGirl powder products are a new hit from the drugstore for me, for sure. Let's do our eyes, and you guys, let's bring ColourPop Super Shock Shadows back. So these last 2 items are the items that I wanted to play with. ColourPop recently launched these new limited edition Super Shock Trios. So these trios are $18 each. This is what put ColourPop on the map initially, and they still are one of ColourPop's greatest products. As somebody who has had these for years, I don't recommend to have a super large collection of these because they do dry out after about a year or 2. But I thought the sets this year looked gorgeous, and these are great options to refresh your Super Shock collection, especially with the types of looks that are in style right now, one and done style looks. I think I can't speak. I think ColourPop Super Shock Shadows deserve their moment, and listen to how cute these are. The Coconut Cream and Soda has pinky nudes. Matcha and Mochi has golden nudes. And then Milk Tea and Boba has silver plums. So I think for my blush, which is very bright and pinky, I'm going to play with Coconut Cream and Soda. So let me show you what this one has. I'm currently decluttering my ColourPop Super Shock shadows, so a lot are gonna go. So I thought I'd hold on to these to refresh my collection. Extra Ice, which is an ultra metallic shade. Really pretty, and these don't create any fallout. Sweet Sip, another ultra metallic. How gorgeous is that? Love. And then all of these are ultra metallics. This is Raspberry Fizz from the set. How beautiful is that? Let's put these on the eyes. Just gonna do a general warmth in my crease using Honey Bun from Covergirl. So these are not a new product for me, Super Shock Shadows. They've been here for so long. I know I love them. It's just that they dry out pretty quickly. But that's the nature of the product. You need to make sure you seal them nice and tight. But refreshing your collection of them every now and then, small collection, make sure it's small. It's really nice too because these are fantastic for just all over kind of looks. I'm just gonna do lightest to darkest. I'm gonna start off with the deepest, Raspberry Fizz. And we're gonna pop this in the outer corner. These are all gonna be pretty light on my lid, and I don't have a ton of lid space because my eyes are kind of small. And I'm just talking proportionally. Well, my eyes are normal on my face. They don't look small, but like I'm a small, shrunk down human being. And so my eyes are small, so I don't have a lot of space for you to see the three together. And we'll take some of Sweet Sip, pop that a little bit more in the center. You can see this one is a little bit lighter. And then Extra Ice will go more so in the inner corner. So these are great. They're mess free. If you love a super simple, shimmery, glimmery lid that you can apply with your fingers, I think these are stunning. And not talked about as much anymore. I don't love them as highlights so much anymore, but that's how you can create a look with all three. Keep it really simple, or you can just literally put one all over the lid. That is the beauty of ColourPop Super Shock Shadows. Oh, how fun is that? Okay, let me put on my liner and lashes. I want to show you the other ones. So this is Matcha and Mochi. These are what the shades look like. So pretty. This one's my favorite. So it's these three, which is Whisk It All, Double Matcha, and Thanks So Mochi. This is for my brownie green earthy tone friends. And then these last three is the Milk Tea and Boba set, which I had to. And this one has those silvery plum shades. Extra Sweet, Bobaholic, and Hey Cutie. So I just think that these little limited edition sets had the prettiest shades. So I wanted to share them with you. Let's finish off with the lips. Like I said, I wanted to cover the ColourPop Fresh Kiss Glossy Lip Balms. They're new shimmer finishes. So we started off by trying Buttery Pancakes. Left a surprising amount of gold glitter on my lips. Now these are not, for example, as nice and hydrating as the Patrick Ta. I think these lean a little sticky. But the flavors is what got me. Because listen, Buttery Pancakes, whipped cream, raspberry cream, vanilla matcha, peach mochi, chocolate cherry. I want to try raspberry cream now. This one might be the one that I wear today. I just want to do the shimmer check. Do these have shimmer? This one is more subtle. It does have like a fake raspberry scent. This one's more clear than I wanted it to be. How much are these? $10 each. They're not a bad formula. They are hydrating, but they're not as good as my favorites. I just thought the names were so pretty, but I'm regretting. And then I am going to hold on to the deepest one, which is chocolate cherry. But there is some glitter residue on my lips left over. I just want to see how the deepest one is with pigment. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. It's leaving some color behind, and when they say shimmer finish, they really just mean there's some fine glitter particles in there. But I think it's pretty. I do like the glimmers that they put in here. Now for wear today, let's see. So I'm not going to open the rest because I won't use them. I'm happy with the three that I have. So we'll do some Anywhere Caffeine just to line the lips. And then I'm going to wear Raspberry Cream today, which is playing off of this lip liner nicely. So you know, in terms of the glossy lip balms, which don't excite me just as a product very much, I did get excited by the flavors that these have. They're not my favorite formula. They're not the most hydrating. They're a touch sticky, but They do have really interesting flavors if you're into more of the flavors, and I think the shimmer finish is pretty. It does add that little extra bit of oomph to it. So there we have it. Those are 6 new viral drugstore products. Well, 4 viral drugstore products and then 2 that I wanted you to know about. And overall, with how the foundation and concealer is sitting, it is sitting a little dry on my skin. I'm not super obsessed with these quite yet. If I'll ever get to that point, I don't think I will. I think it's decent, but I prefer, for example, the Maybelline Superstay foundation, I think. But I'll keep you updated. These are first impressions today. I really need to see how these wear and settle into the skin, so I will make a note in the comments for you. And I'm also filming a wear test portion in short form. So if that's not up yet, it will be very soon because obviously the wear test is more important. So stay tuned for speed reviews as I use these more. But everything is kind of settling a little bit more into the fine lines and looking a little bit more dry, not as luminous and plumped as the reviews claimed, but it doesn't look bad. It feels lightweight. We will see. I like it. I don't love it. I think the clear standouts for today's video are, in fact, the new Covergirl Baked Blush and Bronzers. Phenomenal quality, phenomenal blend onto the skin, gorgeous finish. Slightly different than the Hourglass if you want me to be picky, but overall, I mean, they got the idea down. And then the ColourPop, I just thought that these were super cute, super shock kits in case you wanted to refresh your favorite finger shadows. That's what I call these. These are what I use just to throw something on. So I wanted to show you those new limited edition sets because I thought they were gorgeous. And the Fresh Kiss Glossy Lip Balms didn't change my life by any means, but really cute if you're into these sort of flavors. So I'll have everything linked down below for you guys if you want to check them out. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you found this helpful. If you've tried any of these products, let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys, have a good one.
It's delicious.